we're coming to y'all from a different room today. As you can see behind us is this very, very nice old school prayer quilt. And this is I think it's the WMU prayer
Oh, there's
quilt.
Lottie Moon.
And there's Annie Armstrong.
Don't we have the Lottie Moon offering coming up?
Yes, we do.
And so,
yes, that is the Lottie Moon Christmas offering.
I wonder if she looked like that.
Let me see.
With black, did she have black hair, wore it unbun? Anyways, that's cool. So the Lottie Moon Christmas offering. So yeah, we are obviously, we are trying out a new room. Okay, just stay tuned, y'all. So thanks to Nate for being willing to come over to the other side of the church campus and
literally
help
the other
us.
side.
Yeah, literally, we're on the other side of the campus, and
so we're late today coming to you. But
sorry we're late. Yes, my hair's literally still wet from washing it too, but we're here. We
Here's
are
how about
here.
getting dry shampoo.
Yeah. And so I want to say this, a shout out to last week's crew that did TyTy takeaways. Y'all did a great job.
Thank y'all. Yes.
I almost thought it was going to go longer than what we did.
Yeah,
because they were just going.
Jerry, Thomas, and Kent, and then of course the faithful Nate, the Nader. And so
thank y'all for
yeah,
doing
you
that
all.
last week.
Yeah, thank y'all
it
for
was
doing that.
The 3 men,
Yes.
3 amigos.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So we had
Technically, 4
an
amigos if you
exciting.
include me.
Yeah.
True. So
Quattro.
yeah, so yeah,
we
we've had a lot going on since we've been on here last. So.
I think the most exciting thing is we had a baptism service Sunday morning.
that was great.
And
They were saved.
children got baptized.
They were saved not this Sunday,
The
but last
Sunday
Sunday.
before.
They got baptized within a week.
I know.
I mean, that's awesome.
That's a quicker turnaround than most baptisms, I feel like.
And then we've got actually baptisms this Sunday coming up, this Sunday night, because we're going to baptize Sunday night, and then we have one
and
next
Sunday morning.
Yeah, and Sunday morning. So got a lot going on.
Sunday's a double baptism day.
Double baptism day. But then also, so last week we weren't here because we went to the Georgia Baptist Convention in Statesboro.
Well, just 2 days. It wasn't a whole week, but.
And so, but the reason we weren't on the TyTy takeaways
gotcha.
is because
Yes.
we were at the Georgia Baptist Convention in Statesboro, First Baptist Statesboro, and that was a great time. You and I and Titus got to go to that, so we had a really good time there. We were there Monday, Tuesday.
And we heard, y'all, we sat in a sanctuary for, I don't know, one night they had 4 preachers, so we sat through 4 different sermons in a row, without a break. I mean, we could have got up and left, but it was good. Like, we wanted to be in there. We heard 4 preachers in a row, and then we had praise and worship. They had, a choir one time, or a few churches came together, and then they had, I don't know, a worship team another time. But we got to hear. And the next day we heard 3 2 preachers the next day, so 6 total maybe.
No, so
I don't even know.
So there was 4 that afternoon, then there was 2 that night, then there was 1 the next morning, 1 the next night.
So we heard 8 sermons.
Yeah, it was great.
And
I love preaching. I love listening to preaching.
Oh,
it
yeah.
was good
I
preaching.
mean,
As long as it's coming out of the Bible.
Yeah, it was, and all of it was. And, hey, on top of that, we had our Bible conference before that, and we got to hear great preaching that week, too.
Yeah.
So I've got to hear a lot of good preaching the past couple of weeks.
One of my favorite preachers that preached at the convention was Rick Coram.
Yeah.
He's an evangelist, and he preached about the room where revival starts.
Yeah, that was great.
Out of Acts 2. He said you have to have saved people present to have a revival. What else? He said you have to have supernatural power, and he talked about wind and fire, which John mentioned about the wind, and then, the Elijah Bible study some of the ladies went through, talked about the story of Elijah where there was fire, and
rain.
So it was neat. He talked about that, and so did you. Revivals are prayed down, not worked up. And then strong priorities to share Jesus with the world and show Jesus to the world. And he just said real revival gets outside of the church. You know,
True.
it starts with saved people who are
Yeah.
revived.
Now, had you ever heard him preach before? I didn't.
I'm not sure.
I
I was
had
trying
not.
to figure out if he was the interim when I was a younger girl at Briarwood Baptist.
I
I'm
don't
not-
know. I don't know.
I knew his name, so that makes me think I'd heard him before.
Yeah.
But then, a man from Clint.
Clint Presley, the Southern
Okay.
Baptist Convention president.
I thought he was the. I thought the other guy was the president.
Clint Presley was. Tim.
Josh Safe.
No, he's the president of the Georgia Baptist
Okay.
Convention.
So he preached on
Yeah, you know your president signed out.
Ezekiel, or can dry bones live?
Yeah, that was good.
Out of Ezekiel. And then Jeremy Morton preached out of, that was funny, talking about how he was witnessing to his barber,
Yeah.
who was a Muslim
No, I
or
don't
some
remember
kind
where. I
of
don't remember.
something.
I
But
know religion originally.
Yeah.
He was from another country.
he was talking about how we need to befriend sinners and win souls to Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus pursued lost people, and Jesus was always on mission. What's one thing that would make someone want to be a Christian because of your life? That was convicting. I was
Yeah.
like, wow.
It's really hard to answer. Like, how do you answer that? Like, what?
Well, instead of saying what's 5 things, like what's just one thing? Would
Yeah.
people say, wow, John's such a generous person, he must be a Christian? Or wow, Brandy is always happy all the time, maybe she's a Christian. Or so-and-so never complains. Like, they never complain about anything. Wow, that must mean they're a Christian. That's what I took from what he was saying.
Yeah.
You know, like,
But that was something hard.
I
'cause
don't know.
It was something hard for me to think about because, I know a lot of lost people that are really nice and generous and happy. So
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, you can't, like, I mean, sometimes.
Well, like they're being generous, like they're giving
Yeah.
offerings even though
Yeah.
they're broke.
Yeah.
But they're not complaining, and they're no God will take care of them
Yeah.
for giving them their last like $5 they have for the month.
But we still have to share the gospel.
Yeah.
Like, he's
and that's
not
what the
saying,
next preacher said.
he's not saying just be
Yeah.
nice. He's saying, and share Jesus.
But it was a very
Share the name of
searching
Jesus.
question, but I've got to be honest, I didn't come up with a good answer. It was a great question.
Well, he did say look for ways to bring up the name Jesus.
Yeah, that's
the
right.
name Jesus. And you could say 2 questions if you want to win souls. Do you know what it means to be born again? And can I talk to you about what it means to be born again? So if you want to be a soul winner and go out and witness, that was good. Then we heard Landon, how do you say his last name?
Loudon.
So we heard him. He talked about gut-wrenching things come to every home. People experience crisis and tragedy. By God's grace, though, you can make it through. He just talked about how life is a vapor. He grew up with an abusive father who was lost, and then he was able to talk about forgiving his dad and praying for his dad to get saved, and then he got to lead his dad to Christ a year before his dad died. So he shared that tragic story.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
But it also doesn't have to be that extreme either.
right.
It could be like
Right.
a bunch of deaths in your family with a year.
Yeah.
And then we heard, everybody has something you're going through. Then we heard Josh, how do you say his last
I
name?
don't know.
Safeco, he said, put the fresh yes on the table. Answer the call.
Yeah.
Answer that call. If God's calling you, if you're a, young man that God's calling to preach, answer that call. Say, yes, Lord. Yes, here am I, send me. If you're a lady that God's calling into the ministry, say, yes, Lord, what do you want me to do? How can I help? And then Robbie Gallaty, he challenged us, who are you performing for? Who are you posting online for? Are you trying to win the approval of man, or are you doing it all for God and for God's glory? It was a good message as well. He said the higher you climb the ladder, there's no graceful way down. Just kind of the dangers of pride,
Yeah.
and don't put yourself too far There, don't fall in love with the ministry of Jesus and not the Jesus of the ministry.
Yeah, that's a good word.
I thought that was good.
You know, something we didn't talk about.
Also, most of these go well with your sermon on Sunday.
Yeah, yeah. You know, something that we did not talk about at all on TyTy Takeaways is our Bible conference.
We didn't talk about that?
We weren't here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were gone last week, which would have been the Monday that we talked about it.
Yeah, the Monday after.
And I don't think Thomas and them talked about the Bible conference.
We did not.
Yeah, it was really I don't want to. So the Georgia Baptist Convention was like a great boost. Couple things from the convention though, if we do want to talk about the Bible conference, but a couple things from the convention that really stood out to me was, you know, Georgia Baptist this past year, baptisms were up by 6,000.
Wow.
Which is great. But we only baptized 22,000 people in Georgia. And Georgia's growing by 250,000 people a year. And we only
Wow.
baptized 22,000. So the
Wow.
growth of the lostness of the state is outgrowing our baptisms.
The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are
Yeah.
few.
And I tell you, and then, you know, another statistic we heard was 1,700 pastors are leaving the ministry every month.
That's sad.
That's so sad.
And
1,700.
we only maybe have like 500 new pastors enter the ministry every month.
Well, you know, last year, just in the Georgia Baptist summer youth camps, only 294 students answered a call to preach, which is great. But if you think of one whole year, only 294 people surrendered to ministry, and 1,700 quit a month.
It's
We're
not
not
enough.
we're it's not enough. There's
It's
three.
not we rather
we're-
have more come
yeah,
in than
yeah.
leaving.
There's
Yes,
3,000.
yeah.
There's 3,000.
It's a deficit for sure.
There's 3,400 Southern Baptist churches in Georgia, and we need pastors. We need pastors. My goodness, pray that God would call. God's still calling, and that's one thing they challenge us with, is, you know, calling out the called. Is God's calling pastors and ministers, but they're just not answering.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's
So pray for the calling, for people to be
Yep.
brought into the ministry, and they answer
who
it.
they answer the call.
Amen.
But our
Yeah.
Bible conference was great. I mean, we didn't talk about that yet. I don't think, did we? Maybe we did. No, we talked about it the Monday that it was starting. Remember, we had TyTy Takeaways.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
We've
know.
not-
I'd have to jog my brain.
No,
We
we
already
not.
talked
But,
about it. Monday is starting,
Yep, we
and
took-
then that was it.
I
After-
don't think we did because
no.
we were at convention Monday and Tuesday. So I have to say that one of my favorite messages from the Bible conference was what Pastor Robbie Foster taught us through his preaching about casting the net. And are you a caster or are you a mender of the net? And if
Yeah.
you don't know what we're talking about, go back and watch the sermon. And on YouTube, like it says Bible conference, and it's also in the church Facebook page.
And it will say Robbie Foster, Dr. Robbie Foster, Tuesday night Bible conference.
And in the Facebook page, it even says, "Hey, comment below and tell us which one are you." And y'all can comment. Y'all can comment now here on TyTy Takeaways. And John, tell them, what does it mean if you're a caster?
Yeah.
What does it mean to cast the net?
Yeah, that's good. So what does it mean to cast the net? Pastor Robbie said that the people in your church that are constantly reaching out to bring in new people, the evangelists, the people that are inviting, the people that are reaching out to their neighbors and bringing them to church, they're casting the net. And then he said there's also those that need to mend the net. And he said these are the people in your church that close the back door. So the casters work the front door, the menders work the back door.
But what does that look
So the
like
menders
to be
are
a mender of the net?
yeah.
Basically, all the ministries.
What does it look like to be a mender of the
Yeah.
net? What's an example?
So a mender of the net is the ones that love the people that are in the church. They're the people that teach Sunday school, small group leaders, just the people that
send cards.
Yeah, send cards.
They check on people. If
Yeah,
someone's
love
sick,
on
they
people.
they
Yeah.
bring them a meal.
It's everyone that doesn't go out
That's right. Yeah,
and out in the world and bring people in.
that's right.
So
So
it's
you can
kind of
be
like they care for people.
very
Like
caring.
they take care. Like if
They're
you're
either once
sick,
you're in, you're
Yeah.
already you're part of the church.
you're
family.
part of the. They love on the church family.
Even
so the
if you're
pastors
thinking
are
about
reaching
it.
more people. Menders are loving on the people you already have.
Also, I will say
Yes.
some pastors can also be vendors at the same time.
Sure. Oh yeah, no doubt.
They,
yeah.
That's true.
So John, which one are you? A caster or a mender?
I'm naturally a caster. I'm always looking for new people because I'm called to be an evangelist, which is, I'm a pastor, but my giftedness is evangelism. So I have to work really hard at mending the nets. And so naturally I'm a caster.
Yes, me too. I'm a caster. Like when John and I go out to ball games out in the community, like so often we will get back in the car and somebody at the game has talked to us and said, we're coming to your church.
Yeah.
You know, like that is casting the net, out, being out at a ball game, and we're they're coming to us, or we're telling them, hey, like here's this, thing coming up at church, and here's how you can get connected to this at our church. And so we obviously need y'all's help mending the net.
Oh yeah.
As far as the care ministries of
So deacons
taking care.
So like the deacon ministry is like a net mending ministry,
Yeah.
So like today, I got my hair cut today.
But we try to do both.
We do work on both, but like today, the guy cut my hair today, Travis. I was inviting him and his wife to church. He's a guitar player. He was a deacon in an African American church over in town, and he's been out for a while. But so I'm hoping he comes. He plays lead guitar in his praise band at his church. He used to.
So think about, do you naturally invite people to church, or do you naturally love and care on the people that are already here at church? And then comment below with which one you think you are, or if you don't know which one you are, say, hey, can y'all help me figure out which one I am?
Most likely, if you can't figure out which one you are, you're probably both.
Could
Maybe.
be. But
I will go back to that. I'm naturally a mender. I will say.
You are. So like I really liked Dr. Brunson's message to the pastors and to the church. He was so in depth, just it was pretty neat. And then Brother Jason did a great job on Wednesday night, just really reminding us about a fresh vision of Jesus. It was good. So it was good.
Yes, the whole thing was really good. So thank y'all for coming, inviting people.
We had great crowds every night too.
It really built, and John
great.
had people asking him on Thursday, can we have
I
it
know.
again? Can
I
we
know.
have another night?
Yeah.
So that's always a good
Yeah,
sign
it's always
you're
good when
hungry
people
for
want another
more.
night.
Yeah.
It's not good when they're like dreading coming back. So
When
like
they rather come
you,
back.
you leave them want more, right? So
Yes.
that's good.
So Sunday morning, like we said, we had a baptism service, and we showed a 3-minute video on the mission trip to Nicaragua. So that's part of why we had a longer service Sunday. We had a video and a baptism. But there is a mission trip opportunity to go to Nicaragua with Christ Through Baseball. If you want to know more about that, the missionaries are coming this Wednesday night at 5:45. So if you signed up for the Wednesday night supper, you can get your food and take it to the youth room and eat while you hear them share. You can ask any questions. You can ask very detailed questions. And they, Shane and Lisa, they're gonna, not John's dad, but the actual missionaries, Shane and Lisa, are coming Wednesday to share with us more details about the mission trip. So if you haven't already told Christy Gibbs that you are interested in that, please let Christy Gibbs know, or call the office and say, put me on the mission trip list. And if you're curious, come Wednesday.
If you're just curious, come.
Yeah.
It's not a commitment to go, right? If you come, it's not a commitment to go. But if you're just interested in knowing more, it'd be great to have you.
Yes. And Band of Brothers is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. They're having chili in the social hall. And Brother Jerry is speaking. He's who was on the TyTy takeaways last week.
In the middle of the three.
He was in the middle. So be sure to come out for that. The men have been having a huge crowd come out. It's such a blessing. They do a great job. Brother Ben Martin and Miss Rona with that ministry, great job. And Ben Martin and 6 people went to chop up trees for a mission Saturday.
Yeah, they went over to Baxley to the children's home, and they cleared trees and from the hurricane. So they cleared trees and worked together on Saturday. So the team went out Saturday.
Yeah, we're still having trees to be cleared around town still.
Yeah.
And not this Wednesday, but I think it's the next Wednesday, December 4th. Youth group is going to start back on Wednesdays, not Sunday nights.
Yes, moving to Wednesday
so
night.
So that's a big
Yes.
a big announcement. And I'm not looking at my calendar. I'm going off the top of my head. But is there anything Thursday or Friday? Not sure. But anyways,
No.
The Christmas tree lighting is December 1st, and it's going to be in the community behind Esco's. So try to invite. That's the time to invite, right? That's an easy thing to invite new people to. Hey, come and drink hot cocoa and hot apple cider and eat some cookies and see the Christmas tree lighting in TyTy. And it's December 1st at 6 o'clock. That's a fun time. John's going to share a short Christmas story or something from the scripture. And the kids are going to dress up and sing. They got costumes. Do I have lipstick on my teeth? They got costumes, y'all. There's nothing more precious than seeing a little kid in a little animal costume dressed up for Christmas. It's like the Hallmark movie. So anyways, invite people to the December 1st Christmas tree lighting. We've got, a lot of fun things coming up in December as far as Christmas parties and things. In January, the ladies are having a missionary come speak at our ladies event at the station downtown in Tipton. So she's friends with one of the ladies here, and she's a missionary. She's just here for a few months, so she's going to speak to us ladies in early January. Be looking out for that. So I haven't posted the date yet, but
yeah. And then also we need to remember we're having a Christmas Eve service here. Just a heads up. And also we are on December the 8th. I think the children are singing that morning too in church.
There's 2 different times that, I know Miss Lisa's choir singing at one date, and then Miss Margaret and Mary's choir singing a different date. So, like I said, I know we need your phone to look at the date on that, but
we got that coming up. Just be heads up on that.
Yeah, that'll be fun. So Sunday morning, your message was just in where the text fell with what you're preaching through was on, what is a pastor's role? And it was actually really good, even though, you're a pastor and, us in the congregation are not. It was not a boring message. It was still interesting.
Yeah, and also, you're not afraid to tell us what we need to be looking out for in you.
Yeah.
And you said, the Bible's term is elder, and you said an elder does not mean old. It means a shepherd and an overseer. The
also
elder
mature.
is the pastor.
Yeah, mature,
The pastor's call. It's a calling, not a career. So you talked about how the most miserable person is the one who is saved and not serving Jesus. Because if you're saved, we're supposed to serve Jesus if we're saved, right?
You're supposed to be willingly serving.
Right.
You're not supposed to do it because you're saved.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So you talked about how the flock or the church belongs to God, and just how the pastor's to protect the sheep from sin and bad teaching, and the pastor's heart to do his job joyfully. And so same with us. We're supposed to serve the Lord with joy and gladness. And you preached about that Sunday night.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to complain. We're supposed to rejoice and do our jobs with joy and not with negativity or complaining or grumbling. But with an eagerness. I think of Chick-fil-A, they say, my pleasure. Well, I don't know if they still say that or not. Do they? I don't know.
They're supposed to, I think.
But like I know some people still say my pleasure, you know, and
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that is such a
That's how Mackenzie Reuter is.
yes.
Have you noticed
like,
that?
she will
She's
text
always
back,
like, my pleasure. Yeah.
And there's
I
another
think,
lady
Mackenzie, did you work for Chick-fil-A?
that.
Because she has that my pleasure type all the time when you
Yes.
say thank you. She's like, my pleasure. It's getting hot in here to me. Are you hot?
No.
I'm getting a little warm.
But I don't have
I'm
a
wearing a jacket.
We're almost done. We're almost done. But you talked about just how important private character is, to have a right heart and good character. And then you mentioned a caveat that, you know, the Holy Spirit kind of taught you in Sunday school. Shout out to Sunday school.
Yeah.
Get to Sunday school. Don't miss Sunday school.
Yeah.
Forgiveness, you said forgiveness keeps me from getting a callus on my heart, or from bitterness building up. That was just about the lesson on Joseph in Genesis. So good. So then, do you have anything else to say about Sunday morning or Sunday school?
No, I don't think so.
So Sunday night, y'all, if you were not at church Sunday night, you missed a sweet treat. Like, you missed like a special nugget of goodness.
Yeah.
God's presence was there. I mean, God was there. The music team did awesome. The worship, like I said, God's presence was there. The sermon, the testimonies at the end where people stood up and shared their heart. It was just a sweet service. But you preached about Isaiah 64, the person God meets with, a rejoicing church, or the church God meets with. You don't have to be happy to rejoice. You said rejoicing is an attitude of the will.
Yeah.
And there's a verse that says, this is the day the Lord has made, I will rejoice and be glad in it. And for somebody like, I know I've struggled with depression throughout my life, and sometimes when I remember in the morning, I will say the verse out loud. Sorry, I need to turn this off. I will say that verse out loud. This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice, and I will be glad in it.
Yeah.
And then it literally helps change my mood. Are you okay? So if you struggle with depression, I would challenge you to say that verse in the morning and let God's word renew your mental health. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's good.
You talked about how we need to brag on God, rejoice in our salvation, rejoice in His strength, in His service. And we should do righteous. We should walk righteously. You said, I don't care how loud you shout, but talk clean when you go back home.
Yeah.
So you talked about, was it Micah 6:8 where it says, you know, live justly and show mercy and walk humbly with your God. That's a good verse to like put up on the wall.
This is what God requires of us, you know, that there are some requirements.
Yeah, He wants us to do justly. So don't cheat people out of their money. You talked about unbalanced weights is an abomination, just like homosexuality. So if you're doing bad business deals, that's an abomination to God. Like, it's bad. We need to do the just, the fair, the right thing. And then to be humble, and then to love mercy.
Yeah.
To show mercy to people. Mercy is something I did not learn until the last 2 years, really. That it's something I didn't really know how to show people or how to receive until 2 years ago. And I went through went through a miscarriage and some hard things that really, really kind of broke me. And I was honest with my weakness and was able to receive like mercy from people. So I love how God still teaches us things even when we're in our 40s, and that every decade we can learn, every day we can grow in our walk with God and learn new things. Like, it never gets boring walking with Jesus, because there's so much about Him that we can learn about Him. But one thing you said is it's not about us, it's about them. It's about them. So we can't get all like, well, I don't really like this about the church, and I don't really like this chair and this music, and it's not about us. It's about reaching the lost for Christ,
Yeah.
and getting them in the door to help them hear the
And
gospel.
it's hard. The constant pressure on a church.
Well, I will say if you don't like the chair, you're only in there for Sunday,
Yeah.
Sunday night, and Wednesday.
Yeah, well, Sunday night, Wednesday, you got a pew.
Well, I'm saying
A cushion.
if you don't like the pew either,
Yeah. But you know,
you're only there for a few hours a
Yeah.
week.
the constant
Or you-
constant battle of for leadership in a church is if you don't keep pushing vision for the lost, it naturally turns inward because we're naturally selfish. We naturally you don't have to work at being selfish.
Yeah.
You don't have to work at being self-focused.
It's the default.
You have to work at being open-faced and open, and that's why constantly, and you probably get tired of hearing me say it over and over again, but just reiterating, we're here for the lost. We're here to reach those we've not reached yet. We have to reach one more soul. We have to reach as many as we can before Jesus comes. It's that we have to constantly keep that vision because without that vision for the lost, and the Great Commission is to reach the lost. That is the Great Commission of the church. That is the mission of the church. It's not to babysit the saved. You know what I'm saying? That's not the purpose.
It's for the saved to at least go plant the seed.
Yeah, that's right. It's not a babysitting. That's not what it is.
That's hilarious.
But it is to reach, and if every member reaches one person a year, listen, you think about this. If let's just say that every member of our church won one person to Jesus every year, our church would double in size every year. Double in size.
I told you.
If every person now, I want you to listen. Think about this. Who cannot win one person to Jesus in 365 days? The gospel is the power of God. It means we're not sharing it. If we'll share the gospel faithfully, you're going to win somebody to Jesus this year. And if we're running 250, if all 250 win somebody, you're going to have 500 people.
So we have to immediately go to the new sanctuary.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Because they can only do
Yep.
450 in the worship center?
Yep, 450.
So think about who is that one person you want to reach.
Yeah.
Is it the person that cuts your hair? Is it your teacher at school? Is it your student at school? Is it the person that you work with or that
the
works
parent of
in
the
your
student.
building? Yeah, or a parent of a student. I mean, God might give you a divine appointment with a total stranger. I know I've missed a couple opportunities like that
Yeah.
and have to live with that regret.
So did you know
But-
this? Here's two statistics that'll make you sick.
Mm.
6% of Southern Baptists share their faith. 1% of Southern Baptists lead somebody to Jesus.
That's not even half. That's not even.
That's 1%. 1% win somebody to Jesus in
But
their
6%
whole life.
So that's
share
one-
the gospel?
6% share their faith.
I think that
94% do not share their faith.
I think that 80% or 90% don't know how to share their faith. I mean, I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. It's kind of interesting.
Or
The
they're
woman,
too scared to
the
share
woman
their
that got
faith.
saved at the well
Oh,
went
okay.
back and told everybody in her whole town the same day she got saved. Come see a man that told me everything I ever did.
And she didn't have a seminary degree. Like, she just got saved and had a bad past and went and told the whole town.
You mean tell you what I
She
think?
went and told, she didn't say, oh, well, I mean, I'm just the woman at the well with a bad past. I better not go talk to so-and-so. She went and
Well,
evangelized her whole town.
You know what Billy Graham made a statement. He said, that he'd be surprised if 5% of Southern Baptist membership roll, 5% were really saved.
Billy Graham?
Mm-hmm. If only 6% share their faith, does it mean the other 94% may not even be saved? I don't know. It's interesting. But yeah, Billy Graham said he'd be surprised if 5% of people that go to church every Sunday morning are really saved.
That's why preachers have to
Have
share
to
the
keep preaching
gospel,
the gospel
even at church.
over and over again. And
Um,
so anyway, well look, thank you guys for tuning in. You got anything else? All right, well look, we appreciate you tuning in. Comment below any questions or any comments that you have.
oh wait, there was a question
Was there? What we got?
about the mission trip.
What we got?
Where did it disappear to?
I do not see one.
Okay.
I thought somebody had a comment.
I think it was a text.
Okay.
Was
All
it
right.
a message to the church?
Text message
I
on your
don't
phone.
know.
We'll look and try
All right.
to answer y'all.
Well, look,
I
God
don't
bless you.
it
See
now.
y'all Wednesday night. Don't forget, if you registered to eat Wednesday night supper, it's at 5:45. It's going to be a great meal. We got church at 6:30. Look forward to seeing y'all this week. God
Oh
bless
yeah,
you.
it's the Thanksgiving meal.
Thanksgiving
Wednesday,
And also
yes.
tomorrow, men's fellowship.
Men's fellowship, 7 o'clock. God
Yeah.
bless.